Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And today we are finally going to take a couple of glimpses of the Silver Starion with the new shoes on it. But the main course of action is education on what SHP is. So let's find out what it is and how it applies. Good afternoon to everyone. So today's episode, we're going to get a little, just scratch the surface of SHP. What is SHP? Do you know? For those of you who don't, because I know a lot of you guys do, SHP stands for Sport Handling Package. That brings us to these two cars. So, sports handling package, what does that entail? How can you tell if your car has it? That's the answers we're going to be giving today in this episode. So, back in the day, before they made these beautiful wide body cars, they actually made a narrow body, right? And in competition specification, they didn't handle the greatest. They were a little light, definitely lighter. They were easy to step out of its comfort zone, sliding and not being stable. So in the later years, in '86, they came up with this body style, which actually stepped everything out more, to give it a wider track for better handling. And through testing, these things did great compared to the narrow body, even though it was a little bit heavier. They said the extra weight was well worth it, and they were able to keep this thing on track for the wins, you know? So then to add the cherry on the sundae, they offered something called SHP, or Sports Handling Package. So what it entailed was things, because all cars have options. These had options with mud flaps, front covers, to cover up the front end from bugs and rocks when you're driving it, to rear louvers in the back, everything. Has options, but the sports handling package was a little bit different. It included things like different wheels, different shocks and springs, things of that nature. So I don't have a pair of SHP shocks on hand currently, but I could pretty much explain it to you so you can kind of get the general idea and take it from there. So we have two cars here, and we're gonna see one of the ways that you can tell if your car is a SHP car or not. So let's step over to this yellow one. Right? And the first way you can tell is by looking at your door card. If it's original, that is. So here we got tire size for the front and rear. 205/55 and 225/50 is not SHP. All right, so let's go over here and take a look at our gold car. Okay. Okay, so here we are. So we have 225/50 in the front and 245/45 in the rear. This is a SHP car. Okay, so this one had that option, and we're going to show you another way of telling. I think this one also had interior options too, because that's just beautiful. That's just wonderful. But anyway, so next way you can tell is if you're under the car, right, and you're looking at the back of the shock, the back of it, there's a dial that goes from 1 all the way to 8. So it technically had adjustable dampening from the factory. That's another way you can tell. Okay, and again, I don't have that shock with me at the moment, but that's another way you can tell. The next and last way you can tell is the wheels. So we have 2 wheels here. Okay. This one here is a non-SHP front wheel, and then this one here is a SHP rear wheel. So for the pros, you can easily tell by looking at it. Okay. For the pros, you already know the front one, you can basically take it and look at it and tell this doesn't have a concave center, so that's not a SHP wheel. Now for the non-pros, you know, which is okay, knowledge is power, as we all know, there's 2 ways of telling if this is a SHP wheel. So the non-SHP wheel in the rear is double lip, so it has 2 of these, right? Then the SHP has a single lip and it's concave. It dips down. You can see the difference right there. And also another way you can tell is you can take the tire, flip it over, and see right here, 16x7. That's a non-SHP front. And I believe 18 is the offset. So that gives you some good info right there. Okay. And then another way of telling if it's a SHP from the front is the lettering. Out of all 5 of the spokes, only 1 has the lettering, and this one is just raised. You can see it's raised, and that's it, right? So let's check out the SHP. So the SHP, of course, you can see is concave, then it's bigger. This one's 16x9, but look at the lettering. It has a square box around it. All SHPs, whether it's front or rear, have a recessed square around the lettering. So that's one professional way of telling if you have a SHP wheel, whether it be front or rear, doesn't matter. So this one's a rear, so if we flip it over, we see 16x9 at 0 offset. That's the factory offset for the rear. Okay, and even with these on there, it doesn't reach the fender. So if you were doing aftermarket wheels like we have here, which I've been meaning to show you guys, I was gonna drop it down lower and get it, you know, fitment correct and everything, but yes, let me give you guys a quick glimpse. I know we're jumping off a subject, but this thing looks amazing. There we go, look at that. It looks so good, so good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys some pictures over here in this corner as we continue to talk. And yeah, don't worry about those. Those are for some other activities. So if you were to do an aftermarket wheel in general, you have to go negative in order to reach the fender. I'm gonna show you that why in a second. So, and I think this one's like negative 30 something. This actually has no spacers on it at all. So I'm gonna, you know, show you guys some pictures of the car and its offset, which you could see it sticks out a good bit, but we'll get to that. I assure you, we will get to it. But so let's take a look at the cars and let's pretty much do a SHP check. Let's see what we got. So we'll go to this one. These are factory wheels. And we have a 16x7, I could tell, because it's in the front. And it doesn't have the square box around the lettering. Then in the back, we have that double lip, 1 and 2, and no box around the square lettering, right? So this is a 16x8, 0 offset, okay? So now, if we go to the gold car, we have, and then this is what I was talking about, you would need, maybe an inch spacer, nothing too crazy. This owner opted for huge negative camber, so that's the way he wants to ride it. That's up to him. But if you check here, look at that. Got the square box, single lip, super concaved. So that's 16x9 with 0 offset. Then in the front, we have what used to be the rear. So double lip, no box around the lettering, and this is 0 offset in the front, so it sticks out. You see that? So in the front, proper offset will be 18 to 15. 18 gives it, I want to say, a little bit of a sunken look. I mean, I guess you can take a look here, but not really. So you can see, even with the tire turned, it's not at the fender, it's well in the fender, and this is offset 18, so I would assume if you go 12 or something, it'll stand it out, so it'll be dead flush with the fender. Preference, whatever you want to do. But that is how you can tell SHP from non-SHP. And with that being said, we're going to call it an episode right there. But I hope you guys found it informative. And if this is the type of thing you like to watch, definitely consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon for updated notifications. But until then, I will see you guys next time. And remember, knowledge is power. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed. And also, let me know what you think about the silver car with the new shoes. All right. I'll see you next time.